that Source 2 was going to add 128 tick servers, overhaul weapons, add new maps, make the graphics next gen.
Bro, what is this guy's voice, man?
And add a campaign mode. This was intended as a joke, and people got it was a joke. But in a couple of hours, it had aged in a rather weird way. You see, while I was making my dumb tweet, a well-known journalist called Richard Lewis was polishing an actual report on actual inside information about Source 2. CSGO's Source 2 port has been in development for a while, it's well known, and this report wasn't saying anything new in that respect, but it did contain a number of massive bombshells, like stating that Source 2 would have 128 tick servers, and also that it would overhaul matchmaking, and by the way, most importantly, it's probably going to be released as a beta this month. Now,
this month, I just don't believe it.
Soon.
About Source 2 being released in CSGO in 2 months, it seems trustworthy because I heard from reliable sources, but with Valve, you can never be 100% confident with unofficial dates. Better multiply it by 2. Anyway, I'm not sure about it yet. I have to check personally and ask more. I asked, Source 2 is on the way for CSGO, but that's not something shocking. We already knew time ago. Even some dev talked about openly about it in 2017. Source 2 and CSGO is a priority for Valve now, and 2 months is a gamble league. Keep it at 20.
Years. Generally from very dubious sources. There's been great data miners, but
the Nvidia
not
thing,
that many good internal sources on what's actually happening with the game. But Richard is an outlier here. He's a veteran journalist with actual journalistic credentials and an actual journalistic record of getting things right. And most people who read his work are kind of inclined to take his word for it, and in the absence of public ups, that's pretty reasonable. Another interesting detail in the article is the claim that the new version of the game has already been secretly tested by pro players at Valve's HQ, but where it is vague is on the nature of this update. Richard appears unsure about whether it'll be a replacement for CSGO or an alternative game or some sort of middle ground.
Directive replacement for CSGO.
That his sources didn't specify, so
Truly King, thank you for the 3 months, my man.
Fact, but as we're going to see, there's probably
it won't be a new game. It won't be Counter-Strike 2. It won't even be a rebrand. Just CSGO Source 2.
The Source 2 update is not only confirmed now by a journalist who's built
confirmed by the big guy
of accurately reporting big stories like this. It's probably also going to come this month, barring unexpected delays, and it's going to contain a bunch of cool
128 tick and fix MM
for years. That's big news, but how does it go from here? Well, first of all, they're not going to delete your skins.
Your skins will not be deleted.
Please stop worrying. Please don't panic sell. I'm sick of this question. But how will the Source 2 update itself work? Richard reports it will initially be a beta, which is consistent with what everyone was expecting, but
working title Counter-Strike 2. The tentative release date for the beta is in the month of. Does this mean a separate game?
Intended to be a separate game, but this is where I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. No, it won't be. It definitely won't be. In fact, I think there is no chance of that whatsoever. Here's why. This is CSGO's player count. You might not have noticed in all the commotion, but it just set a new all-time record. This game is booming, it is absolutely thriving, and the last thing Valve would ever want to do is split this player base. If Source 2 is a separate game, not everyone will switch.
Exactly.
There will be bugs in the new
There's
version.
no chance.
Some people will not like that. Others might just feel more comfortable with good old CSGO. Orgs and pros will similarly be left with a difficult question about whether to make the switch, and Valve will now have to maintain 2 games instead of 1. Do you remember Robert Baratheon talking about 5 armies versus 1?
5. 1.
Well, that's the situation we're dealing with here. Valve will not and cannot let this split their game. Counter-Strike would go from one of the strongest, most resilient games on the market to a dysfunctional, confused mess overnight. And they know that. Game Follower may not know this for 100% certainty, but I would bet everything I own on him being right. This is an overhaul of CSGO, not a separate game. A very big, cool overhaul for the sounds of things, but an overhaul nonetheless. Now, Richard does talk about how Dota handled its own Source 2 overhaul as a potential option for Valve, and I think this scenario is also highly likely as kind of a managed way to integrate the 2 versions of Counter-Strike, but what is a basic certainty is that at the end, we will end up with just one Counter-Strike, with 128 tick overhauled matchmaking, a much better engine, and maybe, just maybe, an Anubis collection. Actually, the last one's probably Kobe. I think that was going to wait until the major. But anyway, that's the news. Source 2 is a lot closer and a lot cooler than I was expecting. I'm a little bit dazzled by this. I was not expecting such good news, but that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Massively appreciated.
That was awesome. That was a good video right there. That was a great